Like, you don't have to like, you're in the video today. Big deal. What's up guys, Chris here from Mainely with
Derek.
Today, it's another Field Friday. We're gonna be talking about, we talked about the roll from directly behind the cage last week. This week, we're gonna talk about initializing your dodge with a roll early on in the dodge as well. So a lot of great attackmen use this of all speeds. You know, Josh Dione, a lot of those great X guys. I've seen Lyle Thompson do it a few times, Kevin Rice, of course. And then where it can really help you out too is if you're not necessarily as quick. So the guys who I think of who do this the most are like the Stanwicks, you know, some of those still amazing attackmen, but those who need to, you know, change up their feet a little and aren't necessarily the shiftiest guys on the field. So this is something I picked up late in college, and it surprisingly made a world of difference. So we're going to outline it for you. Got to grab a ball. Basically, last week we talked about beating our defender to a spot and how my goal is getting to that roll about a yard past directly behind the cage. And that still holds true here. But what we're going to do is we're going to need to open up our defender's hips as he's guarding me initially. So if Derek is pushing me up the left side of the field here, I need to break his hips in order to make my dodge happen. So what I'm going to need to do here is, in order to get a step on Derek, I can't just necessarily, if I'm starting from the wing and Derek is pushing me up the left side of the field because I'm a righty and he's trying to push me to my left, I can't just necessarily try to run by him because I have the end line here keeping me from going out of bounds, and Derek can just slide down, get in my way, and force me to go where I don't want to go because I'm not heading towards my money spot of right behind the cage at X, where I can get his feet caught up. So what I'm going to do is, instead of dodging from this angle and dodging from the corner, I'm going to dodge about 5 yards to the left of the cage and maybe 10 yards back, 5 to 8 yards. So now Derek, who's going to be pushing me up the side of the field, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into his body, making him feel like I'm going up the field, and then I'm going to do an early roll. What this forces Derek to do is break his hips. Similar to what we were talking about with the midfield dodge of stepping in so that Derek has to take a drop step, it's the same thing except now he has a pull. So what this means is that I can't just come in and try to do a split dodge across my body from here, because if Derek throws a poke, what's going to happen is I'm done. Right? So since he has that extra space, but I still need to get into his body to cause that drop step, I'm going to turn it into a roll. So it's going to be the first thing I do in my dodge. It's not a dodge to the net, obviously, but it's just going to be a quick little roll to break the hips, and now we can play our race to the spot game, and I can start throwing the rest of my dodge. So all it is just getting you that first extra half step. Same thing on the other side. If Derek's pushing me up the other side of the field, all it is, I'm starting from about 5 yards to the right of the cage. I'm coming in, I'm challenging his hips. He's getting the push. I'm doing an early roll, so he has to break his hips. And now it's a race, and we can actually have fun. You can pull the finalizer, all those great moves that you see every day with all the great college players doing. So, I'm going to give you a few faster speed shots. This is really a shorter video. Just something for you guys at X to try out, because a lot of times we see these kids trying to do crazy split dodges on poles, and if a pole just throws one simple poke check, all of that goes down the drain, or you're forced into a swim dodge and Derek can get a lift. It just gets a little more complicated, so we're keeping it simple with the roll. Give you guys a few high-speed shots, because I'm super fast. Thanks so much. Thank you, Derek. We'll catch you guys next time.